Hello, everyone, and welcome to the final round coverage of the 2019 Texas State Disc Golf Championship. This is Front 9 coverage. I'm Paul Ulibarri. I'm joined by Brian Earhart, and we have another awesome leader card for you guys today.
Yes, we do. We have actually 3 of the 4 players from yesterday. Ricky Wysocki coming in the lead. Nice smile, nice teeth. And then the newcomer to the lead card is going to be Bradley Williams, who shot hot in round 2, sitting at 8 under par. AJ Risley, oh, happy guy, is coming in, same as yesterday. And Alex Russell is also rounding out our lead card as well. How were the conditions on that day, Paul?
Chilly. I think temperatures dropped about 15 to 20 degrees. I believe the winds shifted as well to straight tailwind on this hole. This is hole 1, par 5, 1,130 feet. OB left. Basically, what they're wanting you to do is throw a tee shot perfectly straight. There is a Mando on the right. And then kind of just get yourself in position.
Ricky Wysocki.
Ricky has been opting for a forehand all 3 rounds, and I feel like he's going to continue to try to play it off to the right.
Yeah, and he's actually been hugging the Mando on the right pretty close, just to get it, we've talked about his power with his sidearm. And again, he really hugs that. He really likes that right side. It's clear that he doesn't want to yank it anywhere near that out of bounds, and he knows his game plan that he'll be able to throw another one of those.
Next on the box, Mr. Bradley Williams.
For his next shot.
And Bradley obviously is a player that does throw sidearm, but off the tee he definitely prefers the backhand and has probably some of the best spin control of any player on tour. So you'll probably see him throwing some sort of hyzer flip.
Yeah, I'm expecting him to throw something a bit flippy towards the left side of the fairway, especially with this tailwind, and kind of glide it back to the right. And he does exactly that.
That's exactly what I was mentioning. Beautiful landings. He is one of those players who's very obsessed with landing his disc on a dime. And
Alex Russell.
And Alex has been preferring the sidearm as well. I believe he mentioned to you that he prefers throwing the boss off the tee.
He has a very, very simple disc selection. He really only chooses between 3 or 4 different molds, and the boss is definitely one of them.
I think he'll actually go a bit wider than Ricky did, but a little more height as well, so they should actually be in similar positions.
And this allows the righty forehand player to really throw almost 2 identical shots. They can throw forehand hyzer and then another
Risley.
forehand hyzer. No bandana today, but a beautiful, what would you call that little ball on the top of his hat?
I would call that a beanie.
It's kind of a nice beanie.
Yeah.
Going with the enforcer, I'm sure he's going to try to throw a flex shot, one of his favorite lines.
Yeah, and he's not really known for taking stuff to the left side and gliding it to the fairway, so I think he'll probably hugging kind of the middle of the fairway, try to drift it kind of right. See what he does here. Yeah, and a bit not as an aggressive shot as Bradley threw. Kind of a smart play, make sure to get it into play, and then have a similar shot from there.
Not sure what he has. I think it's a getaway in his hand. He's going to throw kind of a smooth turnover, flat and soft. And he's going to play this one in front of the OB green, or the OB bunker. And now he'll have a shot at the basket for birdie, but a little bit longer shot.
This is actually a tough shot because Brad's actually pinched here. It's an awkward distance to where if he turns this over like it is, it could challenge that bunker that he's going at right now. And he does, and he doesn't get to skip out of it. So a lot of players are playing short of that and trying to just land it short so they can have, about 400 into the pin. But Brad was so far off the tee and in great position that I think he just kind of felt like he could drift it to the left.
And that's what I think the beauty is of this hole. That OB bunker definitely creates a decision-making opportunity for these players. You either play it in front of it and give yourself a longer upshot to the basket, or you do chance going over that bunker, but it takes a longer tee shot to get there.
And Ricky puts on the brakes in perfect amount of time there.
AJ going roller again. Yesterday he went a little bit long on his roller. And that one looks a little bit better.
Very nice.
Wow.
Good control, circle's edge. That's a good start for
Being
AJ.
able to control the flip point on a roller for a 13-speed disc is definitely tough. So he's been working with that disc for a long time, obviously. Alex keeping it simple, throwing boss again. It needs to get over to the left or right.
He's left himself a longer putt there. I think they were looking to. I think they were a little bit pinched on their second shots there, to where they couldn't really push past that bunker like we've seen in the previous rounds.
Ricky saws that one off, kind of similar to what he did in his tee shot. He'll have kind of an obstructed circle 2 putt.
And Brad's faced with this very difficult shot to just try to get up and down for par, and that's not going to do it because I don't think that's gonna. That thing made me into a big time liar.
Huge liar, probably the biggest one I've ever met. That's just one of those shots that Brad can execute better than almost anybody. That late turn that continues to hold and then flattens softly.
I wish it would have came out.
So you would have been right. I think that was a fairway driver. I think he threw too.
It was awesome. It was a great shot. And it's kind of just a layup, I think, from A. Russ right there. Loose cannon, Risley.
Favored distance to the basket. Can't quite get it going. But again, a 5 in this hole is not too shabby. This played as one of the harder holes in the course.
Yeah, I believe it came as the second most difficult hole on the course,
Which usually doesn't happen for a par 5.
or for a first hole.
Exactly.
And that's not the start Brad was looking for, especially after that awesome third shot. And that's going to be a bogey on the card. And then a few pars.
Ooh, the 13-speed driver tap in.
And with this weather that we had to face for the final round, it kind of put a weird mood on the whole tournament, really. Like,
really
people were
did.
a little bit, not as excited and things like that. And everybody was kind of, I don't want to say down, but the tempo wasn't as high as normal.
Exactly.
Hole 2, par 4, 525 feet. You can see the distance isn't really the main factor. Really what people are going to be trying to do is to hit the initial gap, which is quite small, and try to drift it into a few different landing areas without going out of bounds right. Probably about 350 feet off the tee is your only big time mistake. This looks perfect.
And what he's doing is he's still drifting it to the right, but as you can see on the left, that OB actually kind of fans out to the right, so it makes it easier if you take a longer tee shot.
And interesting that Alex Russell actually takes the wider gap there. Did Ricky take the wide gap as well?
He did.
He did?
He
Okay.
did. They both seem to have similar decision-making with their forehands. And that's perfect positioning. AJ, I think he's going roller. And I think he must have seen something in that ditch there, because
Needs to
that's
sit.
about perfect.
Yeah, that's... Whoa.
Was perfect. Still good positioning, but that was kind of a weird result there. But again, this wind out here on this golf course has been doing some really strange stuff, so it's not uncommon to see the disc do stuff like that.
Yeah, his roller literally went backwards like 50 feet. That was so bizarre. This is that same disc that Bradley fooled me with, I think, a second ago.
And again, that's perfect positioning.
Yeah, that's very good. Just to hit that gap is good. And then you can kind of manufacture something from there into the green.
So he's going to probably go straight. There is a backdoor route, too, if you wanted to throw some sort of skip, but I think knowing Bradley, he's going to try to throw a hyzer flip. Perfect.
He opts for the standstill, and that's a common mistake from there because it actually is a low ceiling, but you don't want to take something fast into there because it can kind of get away from you. I mean, it is kind of a very narrow landing area once you get to the green.
AJ
that's-
going putter.
And usually, yeah, the common mistake backhand is left early or sliding it up short.
So a couple of up shots left short. Let's see if Russell can correct that. And that looked clean.
Very good.
Perfect soft flat landing. Kind of a tough break for Rick. Looks like he's opting for kind of a tough flick here.
I actually think this opens the fairway a bit wider for him, and he's
Does it?
more comfortable for that Anheuser into the
Ow.
green. I mean, that was a very nice landing. It looks like he just kind of caught a root.
Mm-hmm.
But just like myself, I kind of like leaning out to make the fairway a bit bigger instead of having that tough shot that they all threw. He kind of makes the landing area a bit wider by throwing that Anheuser. A good bid by AJ, but just off to the right side. These baskets, you really kind of have to hit center in order to make sure that they're going to catch with a bit of force as well.
They do like a nice firm putt right to the center.
Kind of like that.
Or a dainty bouncer off the front of the tray.
Yeah, but he was right on target.
Oh, yeah,
with that
absolutely.
one. And he held his... That's good for the fans to watch. See how he holds his arm up? He liked it right away, held his pose, held his follow-through, and got rewarded for it. Ricky, on the other hand, kind of just stabbed at it. And
it looked like he hit one of those rocks or, roots next to that kind of grouping of bushes, which kind of gave him tough lie. Alex with the easy birdie after a really nice upshot with that putter. And we will move on to hole 3 after everyone else taps out.
yeah, he's a bit bummed after that.
So a couple of birdies, couple of pars from our players, and we are headed back into the woods. What do we have here?
We got a par 3, 324 feet. And really, I mean, you just want to hit this initial gap, and then once you get through here, you can see how the drone's kind of flying. It's the best case scenario is if you have a really good sidearm that you can flex through there. It's really shaped well to hold that flex line all the way through with really no trees in the way until you get to these guardians. If you have a backhand, it's a really, really technical line to where you'll have to like flip it up and play it for almost a 30-footer to the left.
And this, I think, is the perfect play. Alex didn't throw this big swooping flex. He did go a little bit deep, but he threw a much tighter flex line, which I think the hole requires. And it's a very, I would say, much more challenging flex shot to throw.
Yeah, we saw him go a bit deep the first or the second round as well, so I was surprised to see him not take a bit off that. But again, I think that these players are just trying to make the gap, and kind of the harder you throw it, the more accurate you're going to be with a shot like this. And you see Brad get a bit off to the right there. And Rick's done this every round too.
Mm-hmm. He's trying to throw a much wider flex line, and actually backdoor, I think he's gotten a couple of backdoor skips. I think he's left with a 28-footer here. And then AJ has to throw the much more technical shot. I think he's throwing his flippy Maverick here. And you have to get that kind of nose-up hyzer flip, and at the last second, and it kind of has to push flat.
You got away with it, but this looks a bit short.
Right on circle's edge.
Yeah, I know for a fact he wasn't aiming for that left gap, but it's a good miss. I mean,
absolutely.
He has his back turned to the basket here, so anything up by circle's edge he'll probably be happy with.
It looks to be about 27 feet, potentially obstructed, but nothing he can't straddle around.
And that's his signature series. I believe that's a Nova.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, and he loves throwing those. And AJ's a bit off. He's been all over the basket on the last 3 holes from outside the circle, but let's see if he can line it up on the next one. Alex Russell, great putter. If you saw in round 2 that he's kind of dialed right now with it.
And as you can see, his follow-through is held for a long time as well, and he has such a smooth stroke and pops his wrist at the last second, gets tons of spin on that kind of push spin putt that he has.
Yeah, I'd trade him putts in a heartbeat.
I would probably do the same. Little wobbly coming out of Ricky's hand. I'm not sure if he's either coming into the round just playing safe because he has such a big lead and maybe got too lax.
No, I think, honestly, I think conditions probably are going to have something to do with it. It's a bit cold, and nobody's really used to that weather at this point on the tour. I talked to him a bit after the round, and he said that he was definitely feeling like it was a little bit tougher because of the conditions.
After AJ taps in that par, we're going to move on to actually one of the easier holes in the course. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yeah, we're coming right into hole 4.
Oh, man.
Bud. Yeah, hole 4 is coming in as literally the easiest
Oh.
hole on the course. Par 5. Really, your only worry is ending up left into those bunker bushes, and then right there's an out of bounds line that's kind of really far to the right, especially for the conditions. We were playing with a small left to right crosswind tail almost, so this was actually very accessible to hit this fairway.
And this is one of the few holes in the course that can actually be legitimately eagled as well.
Yeah, all of these players are going to try to get into position for that. Like, this is really far. Excuse me. He turned that over a bit too much and still very safe.
So Alex will probably play a nice safe forehand in front of the OB green, and he'll have an easy opportunity for birdie.
And Brad throwing that same disc that he threw on hole 1, and this is a bit flippy. Try to get a little lift out of it, and then an Annie and a skip, and that's going to be in position. He might be able to attack the green from there. Ricky has all the power to get into position.
And that, if it comes out, is going to be great.
Yeah, he's just going to have to beat these 3 trees over here to the left. And he definitely does.
He should definitely have an opportunity to get the eagle here.
That was a boomer.
That was kind of a bomb. AJ throwing the brand new Raider from Dynamic Discs.
This needs help. See, but that's not... I mean, it was really an awful shot, but it dug nicely. He'll just lay up just short of that green and have about, 250 foot into the green. Not bad at all. Which is why this is playing as the easiest hole in the course.
Exactly. He's going to throw, even after throwing not a great tee shot, he's going to throw right in front of the OB green. He'll have, like you said, 200 foot. Definitely playing it safe here. That's what I kind of figured he would do. Alex doesn't seem to have that aggressive of a style, but he kind of stays steady and makes good decisions and tries to keep it as stress-free as possible. This guy, however, might go for the green.
Definitely going for over the green, but this thing has got to go.
And he does get it. It's still quite a ways to the basket, but not something he hasn't made before.
Yeah, and it's a bit of a slippery slope down behind the basket there, which does, and Ricky just doesn't get that. I believe that's a T-bird. Doesn't get that turned over enough, and he's going to be kind of buried in...
It might have snuck through for something, but if anything, he'll have a layup for a birdie.
One thing I've noticed about Alex is he has a lot of touch into the greens as well, which really complements his forehand.
Absolutely. He's thrown that white putter really, really well today. He actually threw it really well on camera the other day as well. AJ throwing his waffle Warden. That's got to sit down. Maybe a 26, 27 footer.
Yeah, and this is one of the windier holes once you get to the green as well, because there's kind of an open area pond to the right of the basket, and seems like the wind kind of pushes off that, creating a tough environment to putt in.
Bradley with an easy tap in for the birdie. And then Ricky might have something, doesn't quite look like it. And he's going to just, again, soft layup. He'll have a tap in 4. This is still not a gimme putt for AJ. This is a headwind, kind of uphill.
Yeah, definitely not easy. You can see that flag kind of ripping. And this isn't an easy putt either. Sit. Ooh.
AJ seems to keep giving himself opportunities on the green, and he just doesn't seem like he's been able to capitalize. If he keeps throwing the way he's been throwing, he should be just fine, but the putt definitely needs to come together for sure.
And then a few tap-ins.
And we are moving into hole number 5, 284 feet, par 3. I like the shot shape that this fairway makes you throw. What are you thinking here when you're approaching this hole, Paul?
Yeah, this is a super difficult shot. So you have that, you see where this drone's flying right down the fairway. That would be nice if everybody could just do that. But the reality of it is you have a right tree that's kind of right off the tee, which forces you kind of left, but then there's a deep left tree. So the speed of the disc really forces you to be exact with your angle. It makes it to almost about a 4-foot gap is it. Like that's the only, room you have. So about 5 discs width to make it through this gap right there.
And that's about exactly how the fairway was drawn up. He went a little bit deep actually, but again, you can't necessarily throw a overstable flex line. You can't throw flat really like you saw Ricky throw. He pured the fairway with kind of this subtle touch hyzer with something straight. Alex should be doing the same thing. And he gets it, but it needs to miss that. Ouch.
Yeah, he hits the initial gap, but like you said, it didn't have that subtle hyzer. It flipped to flat really quick and then just beelined right for one of the guardian trees.
And this is why I think this is a good pro par 3. You kind of have to dictate the entire flight of the disc, angle, gap, and the landing of the disc as well. And he kind of gets a little sneaky there.
Yeah, definitely. He was definitely looking to push that past that tree that he went inside of, but you're going to take that all day. And a very good approach from Brad. Even though he hits that tree, I mean, that thing was coasting home, and he should be able to make do for par from there for sure.
Alex giving her a bid, and it's just going to be a layup, and he'll take an easy 3.
Ricky's been a bit obstructed on the last few putts. Let's see if he can manufacture some way to...
Yikes.
Bit left, like we said before, if you're not exactly center, those push-outs can happen a lot on these mock X's.
Great putt by AJ. I think he's hopefully going to find some putting confidence, and as long as he, again, as long as he's hitting fairways and putting himself in position, I think he should be just fine. It's a good up and down by Bradley.
Seems like he switched to the straddle right there. I wonder if that's going to be the norm from now on.
I think he's got a good release with both, and I think, yeah, right now in the heat of the moment, it's whatever feels comfortable for you.
I'm actually excited for them to throw this next tee shot. Hole 6, one of the more difficult holes on the course. Very demanding tee shot. You can see right about now is where you want to land a disc if you're going to lay up. There's also a tighter gap to the right, which you'll see probably from the first camera angle. And they might go through there, but I'm guessing all of these guys might just try to lay up kind of around to that initial spot that I pointed out. And then from there, it's about 350 feet to the pin. And that was so close.
So close, and
close.
still he'll actually have an open second shot. He'd still have to kind of pure it in order to get the birdie, but...
This is actually perfect.
That's where you want to land ideally, most definitely. But again, like you said, you still have a very long upshot to the basket, so if you do want to get it, you either throw up the gut or you throw the roller like Ricky's about to do.
That's right, I forgot that he goes roller here. And then just gets all kinds of...
He's kind of rolling the dice when he's doing something like that. With how many little trees are in the fairway, with how good of a scrambler he is, it makes sense for him to throw that kind of shot. And that's the thing with this finesse kind of turnover layup shot. It's still not a gimme by any means.
And now he'll throw through that little gap that we pointed out with a really flippy, technical... He impresses me every time I see him on film because he can throw not only overstable disc, flex shots, flat shots, throw with power. He displays some nice touch with a flippier disc. And AJ catches a guardian, but that was okay. I mean, he hit a pretty good gap there and then just kind of filtered into one of those middle trees.
I saw quite a few bogeys on this hole, so yeah, putting yourself in position for a 4 is totally fine. Bradley getting to circle 2 for a birdie look.
That was pretty good. He kind of got a bad break off of a couple little limbs there, but I think that's what you kind of get when you're throwing that tighter line instead of going for the bigger gap to the right. And like we were saying earlier, Ricky he's a scrambler, man. He just wants to get up the fairway, up the fairway, up the fairway, make a putt. And there's a great recovery from AJ. That's going to be a tap-in par, it actually feels really good on this hole.
It feels like this was probably playing one of the harder holes in the course, even though it's a 471-foot par 4. And actually, this card seems to have been playing this hole pretty well. Ricky with a circle 2. Looks like he might be just laying it up for a easy par.
Right, this is going to come in as the 4th most difficult hole on the course, which is surprising to me that it wasn't in the top 3.
Brad with a rough miss, but he shouldn't have any more than 25 feet to the basket. Ricky tapping in his par, I believe.
I actually was in his exact same position, hit the exact tree.
Never feels good to have a circle 2 putt hit an early tree. Give you another tester putt. Feels much better to have something like AJ or Alex have. And after a solid set of pars here, we're going into one of the tougher par 3s in the course. What's the optimal shot here, Paul?
I actually really like this hole. I don't really like the design of the hole because it's kind of a bit lucky to get through here. But what I do like about this hole is we finally have a shot where it's not, you have to hit this initial gap, which I do like. You actually, on this hole, have to shape a shot, and you have room to shape a shot into a very narrow gap. So it kind of switches the style up, which I do like that. But it's, yeah, super tight fairway, and
we're seeing a bunch of different types of shots going through this gap. Rollers, flex shots, straight shots. AJ tried the flex, didn't quite get tight enough of a flex line.
But he's going to like that.
He will like it.
He made it a long ways up the fairway. He hit the initial gap, or the gap that you're trying to hit up there, which is really difficult. You can see from here it's, only 3 feet wide.
Well, and especially throwing the flex, as you can see, they're having to push the disc out left and challenge that tree line off to the left side, which is kind of a scary shot. When you're trying to throw a flex shot, a lot of times you'll yank the disc to the right because you're trying to draw that line right from the get-go. But as you can see, Ricky's pushing all of his body weight out there to the left to throw the roller again. And he might get it.
And that's the danger of throwing the roller. I've seen this play a few times, and if you do pure it, you're going way past the basket into the woods. But this is one of the tougher gets on the course for sure as far as birdie.
You're definitely taking strokes on the field. And Alex actually, and that's my thing about this shot, is I feel like Alex threw almost a perfect flex shot. But once you hit that initial gap on flex, there's a lot of tiny little trees in the fairway that kind of block the optimal line. So he still was rolling the dice even though he, nailed the flex shot. Brad hitting some early soldier trees on that approach. And Alex, after what I thought was a great tee shot, is now scrambling for par.
Right, which is why this is going to come in as the 3rd most difficult hole on the course. So you go from the 4th most difficult to the 3rd. This is a really tough part of the course to
tough
score
stretch.
On. There's some good touch right there. He squares up that tree, but that was going to curl around real nice.
Ooh, little Chris Angel levitating disc.
2 meters.
2 meters. You might need to buy a measuring stick there, Paul.
Yeah.
Measuring stick? I think I meant ruler. I'm not sure what a measuring stick is.
And Ricky's been off with his putt this round, but nobody's really pushing him. He's missed. He's had a putt for birdie on every hole. He's missed almost every one of them. And if one of these guys could have gotten 5-6 on him, they could be pushing him. But it's really not happening this round. And like I said, the beginning of the round, it was kind of like this weird mood that the whole tournament was in. And nobody at this point is playing very well. We saw Ricky come in with a nice 12 down, in the previous round. Brad with a 6 or a 7, a couple 8 downs, things like that. And then all of a sudden, we're looking at this front 9. And there's only a few guys under par. and not a lot under par. And the front nine's honestly pretty scoreable.
Definitely. And moving into this hole, I mean, this is a hole that, unlike the last hole, if you throw the line and you pure the line, you should be close to the basket. 375 tunnel. Ooh, dance troupe, day 3. I'm very impressed with the moves here. Emerson Keith is actually an amazing, is that a double unicycle cart move?
I don't know what that was.
AJ needs to get left.
And that's out of bounds. So there's a OB area right there. If you turn it over, you're kind of toast.
Ricky going, looks like T-Bird.
This is just a straight shot. If you can throw it 350 foot dead straight, you're going to be just fine.
And that's the play.
This is a nice angle to skip as
And
well.
and here's the thing. There was a wind coming off right to left on this hole. So the fact that Ricky threw a subtle hyzer that kind of had the wind help it, that's why it was able to get all the way to the basket. Anything that comes flat to Annie gets shoved down by that crosswind that a lot of people were not seeing. So that was pretty much as perfect as you could possibly throw it.
Yeah, very good. He's going to make that putt. No spoilers, but I'm guessing he's got it.
Alex Russell looks like a wide rim disc that he's throwing.
He just throws boss.
Wouldn't doubt it. I mean, he told me, and it looks like it's not doing too shabby.
Yeah,
He told me
hits a
most
nice-
of his shots are bosses.
That was a lucky kind of gap to hit over there because one kick to the right and you're out of bounds, but he gets through, has a 25-footer for birdie. And this is Brad's.
Bread and butter shot for sure.
Yeah, that was almost a tongue twister for me. This is Brad's bread and butter. This is Brad. Yeah, I can't do this.
This is bread and butter.
I don't got it.
And he's a little bit short. He had the bread but not the butter on that one. And AJ flicking his super. And as you can see, he's going lefty sidearm. He's actually a true lefty. So he actually learned throwing frisbees lefty initially. So a interesting utility tool for him, flicking a putter. Ooh.
Sit. There is OB lurking just past the basket, so air balls can kind of leak out of bounds. So he's fortunate not to go out of bounds, especially with an aggressive run like that.
Great birdie from Alex.
I just want to borrow his putt for like a round.
When's your birthday? I can see if I can arrange that.
Brad's bread and butter. I still can't do it. All right, couple birdies, couple pars, and a bogey. Well, one par and a bogey, so that's average for this hole.
And a bogey for AJ after that up and down. Moving into hole 9. Another one of those holes that makes you throw kind of a unique shot. What do you think here?
Yeah, so you can see this guardian tree with a little critter that probably lives right in that hole. If you can beat that one to the right and then subtly throw kind of a hyzer fade that kind of pushes up here with a nice soft landing, you might see yourself get a birdie. If you get a bad kick to the right, there is out of bounds on the whole entire right side, and then just to the left, if you throw too much hyzer, you could leak out of bounds left as well. This is what you want right here.
Not necessarily the result, but the line for sure.
And actually, initially I thought it was going to push, but it looks like there's a right to left wind, which is why that kind of held to the right there. We saw him throw that exact shot in a previous round, and it held nice. So, sorry about the bad commentary there.
A little bit of a yank job from Alex. Shouldn't be a problem for his sidearm. And then Brad, he loves throwing these types of long, pushing hyzers. I'm sure he's throwing some sort of down-tempo mid-range.
And he's going to get away with that and have some sort of putt. It's going to be in the little bunker area, but that wasn't a good shot. He got a little love going to the left side of that guardian
Should
tree.
have like a 25-foot straddle there. AJ looks like he's struggled on this hole historically, but I think he's switching up his disc selection this time.
Needs to beat that. And
this
he's
is
going to
a-
have a putt on the right side there, or left side, pardon me. But that was really short. It didn't look like he really put any juice behind that.
He clubbed up to a bard is what he did, so it did hyzer out on him.
Oh, what?
A bard, which is kind of an overstable to stable mid-range. So he was going flippy Gobi originally.
Oh, a Gobi and a Bard?
Yeah,
Cool.
switched it up.
Those are interesting names. Give it to him. Oh!
The heartbreak. I felt that one in my soul. And another miss from Ricky. Again, it was a long putt, but that's definitely his range.
Airball. I needed to say it. Actually, it was an airball from Ricky. What is he doing? Brad with a really nice putt. Ricky with the airball. I'm just kidding. Just joking with him. We all do it. Just, he doesn't do it often. Very nice putt from
Alex
Hey,
seems
Russ.
to just be pretty much chugging along and not doing too much out of the ordinary. He had a clean front nine. Was he the only clean front nine of the card? Oh, Ricky looks like he did the same thing, but definitely not stellar play from any of the players in this card so far.
No, we saw a couple good shots, a couple good putts, but for the most part, everybody's kind of, it seems like in a knoll, just trying to jockey for positions. Nobody's really pushing Ricky. But the back nine can change all that. All kinds of stuff can happen back there. And so we're going to ask you guys to join us on the back nine. And I hope you enjoyed this coverage so far.
We will see you soon. Thanks for watching the coverage, everybody. This was our first time teaming up together on the commentary mic. If you like the video on the front nine and you leave a comment down below, you'll be automatically entered to win this signed ESP Vulture straight out of Paul Ulibarri's bag.
That's right.
What about the back nine, Paul?
Back nine, same thing. Subscribe, leave a comment below, like the videos. You can win this Uli hat. So, same one I'm wearing right here.
Sick.